Let me tell you something you might not want to hear, but you need to. Even if it stings a little, if you wake up every morning, drag yourself to work, and grind for 8, 10, maybe even 12 hours a day, thinking that one day this will make you rich, then I've got to break it to you. You've been lied to. Big time. And you know who sold you that lie? The school system. Your teachers. This entire setup we call society. They told you that the path to success was simple. Study hard, get good grades, land a stable job. Stick with it, and everything will work out. Safety, security, success. But here's the truth no one told you. That formula never worked. Because wealthy people don't live off paychecks. They never have. And they never will. Today, I want to show you exactly why that is. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll look at your life through a whole new lens. See, I grew up with a father who believed in that old formula. He always told me, work hard, son, get your degree, find a good position with a solid company. That's the key. And for a long time, I believed him. Because everyone around me believed the same thing. Teachers, family, neighbors, society itself. But something about it never felt right. If this path was so reliable, why were so many smart, hardworking people always broke? Always stressed? Always one paycheck away from disaster? I'll never forget the day my dad lost his job. He was educated, respected. He had a doctorate. But in an instant, it was gone. And the worst part wasn't even the job loss. It was the look on his face. Fear, confusion, and a shame so deep it almost didn't seem real. Everything he had worked for, everything he was promised. Security, stability, a peaceful retirement. Gone. And that's when it hit me. If I follow the same path, I'll meet the same end. So let me ask you something. Do you know that feeling? That sinking anxiety when you wake up and wonder, what if I lose my job tomorrow? How will I pay the rent? What will I feed my family? How will I survive? Don't pretend you've never had that thought, because when your entire life depends on a single paycheck, that fear is always lurking in the background. And you are not alone. According to CNBC, 63% of people live paycheck to paycheck. 63%. One missed payment, and their whole world starts to fall apart. And here's the twisted part. You've been trained to believe this is normal, that it's just the way life works, that struggling is part of the deal, that showing up to a job you hate is simply being responsible. You've been taught to tolerate it. Worse, to judge the ones who don't, to call them lazy, unrealistic, entitled. But let me tell you something. That's not you. That's just the cage they built around you. And they did such a good job. You forgot it was a cage at all. Think about it. Your whole life is a loop. Wake up. Rush to work. Sit in traffic or cram into a packed train. Spend the day doing things that don't inspire you. Come home exhausted. Repeat. And by the end of the month, where's your money? Gone. Bills. Rent. Loans. Debt. And this is what they call success? And then what? You do it all over again next month, and the month after that, and the next year too. Before you know it, 10, 20, maybe even 30 years have flown by, and you're still stuck in the same cycle, still on the same treadmill. The only thing that's changed? You're older, more tired, maybe even deeper in debt. Let me ask you something. Were you really born for this? Did you sit through all those years of school just to spend your whole life chasing money you never quite catch? I get it. This is hard to hear. It hurts, but someone needs to say it. Because here's the truth. If you keep living the same way, you'll end up exactly where everyone else does. And where is that? In debt, under pressure, with no time. No freedom, no real security. Just fear. Fear of losing your job. Fear of not making rent. Fear of losing control. And the cruel part is, the system wants you to be afraid, because fear keeps you obedient. Fear makes you settle. You accept any job, any paycheck, any treatment. And to keep you quiet, they throw you little distractions. A shiny new phone. A car on credit. A flat-screen TV in 30 monthly payments. A quick hit of dopamine. And then, it's back. That emptiness. That quiet whisper in your chest that says, this can't be it. And I'm here to tell you, you're right. This is not all there is. But if you want more, you've got to wake up. You need to understand one thing. A job will never make you wealthy. That's not what jobs are designed for. A job exists to make someone else rich. The owner, the investor, the one you sell your time to. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to quit your job tomorrow and go off the rails. But I am telling you this. You need to start building something of your own. Because if you don't, no one will do it for you. I've seen this play out firsthand. I watched my own father drown financially. I saw it in the military too. Highly skilled people, massive salaries, still buried in debt. Why? Because they never understood the rules of the money game. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it to wake you up. Because if you don't open your eyes now, you'll look back in 5, 10, even 20 years and realize you wasted the most precious thing you ever had. Your time. Your time is worth more than any paycheck. But the system wants you to forget that. So let me ask you honestly, how much longer are you willing to trade your life for a salary that never quite covers everything? I was just 9 years old when it first hit me. Something about all this wasn't right. I was sitting in class and asked my teacher, "When are we going to learn about money?" And without hesitation, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "We don't teach that here." Something cracked inside me. I thought, if school won't teach me about money, what is it really preparing me for? To be another cog in the machine? A good little employee chasing a paycheck for life? That's when I realized school doesn't set you free. It trains you to obey. And that was the moment I started looking for answers myself. I turned to my rich dad. And one of the first things he ever told me burned itself into my memory forever. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "Rich people don't work for money." At the time, it sounded insane. Everything I'd ever been told said the opposite. Study hard. Get good grades. Find a stable job. Work your butt off. And maybe, just maybe, you'll retire at 65. But my rich dad told me, that's the wrong path. I didn't get it back then. But today, that one sentence changed my entire life. Have you ever really stopped to ask yourself what it means? Most people spend their entire lives working for money. They wake up early, pour out their energy, trade away their time, their health, even their creativity. All for one thing, a paycheck. And yet, it's barely enough. So here's the real question. If hard work is the answer, why do the people who work the hardest often have the least? Ever notice that? The ones waking up at 5 in the morning, busting their backs, grinding all day just to survive. They're the ones drowning in debt, stressed beyond belief, terrified of what the future holds. How does that make sense? Here's the difference. Wealthy people learn something that most were never taught. They understand how to build assets. And what is an asset? Simple. It's anything that makes you money. Consistently. Even when you're not working. Your house? Not an asset. Your car? Nope. A real asset is something that pays you while you sleep, while you're on vacation, while you're living your life. That's the game the rich play. They create income streams that don't rely on their time. Businesses, real estate, investments, royalties, licensing deals. Things that bring in money whether they're working or not. When I was in the Navy, I had a solid paycheck. So did many of my colleagues. And what did most of them do with it? They bought big houses, fancy cars on credit, designer clothes, trips, parties. They lived like the money would never run out. But here's the thing, it always runs out. Because if your life depends on one single paycheck, you're balancing everything on a shaky leg. One layoff, one illness, one crisis, and it all collapses. That was the one thing I never wanted to experience. So I started early. I began investing my money in things that made me money. Even when I wasn't grinding, I bought properties that paid me rent every month. I invested in oil wells that gave me royalties. I built businesses that ran even when I wasn't in the office. While others were losing sleep over bills, I slept peacefully because I knew my income didn't depend on a single job. And you know what that feels like? It's freedom. It's peace. It's real security. Not that fake job security the system keeps trying to sell you. The biggest lie out there is that a steady job equals safety. True security starts when your life is no longer tied to one paycheck. It begins when you control the flow of your money, not when you stay quiet, not when you pay your taxes and keep your head down. And here's the real tragedy. No one ever taught you how to do that. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your bosses. You know why? Because they never learned it either. They only passed down what they were taught, an outdated script handed down from generation to generation. So now I'm asking you, and I mean this sincerely, how many assets do you own right now? How many income streams have you built that pay you even when you're not working? And if your answer is none, then hear this loud and clear: you're taking a massive risk, because that one paycheck you depend on, it can disappear at any moment. I still remember the exact day that changed everything for me. I was traveling, completely off the grid. No phone, no Wi-Fi, no connection to the outside world. And still, the money came in. Rental income, on time. Oil royalties, deposited. Business profits, steady and uninterrupted. And right then it hit me. This was it. This was the lesson my rich dad had tried to teach me with that one simple line. Rich people don't work for money. Now maybe you're wondering, does that still work today? Could something like that actually work for me? And I'm telling you, yes. Yes, it works. But only for those who know the rules. It works for anyone who stops living like a servant to money and starts becoming the owner of it. It works for anyone who stops piling up liabilities and starts building real assets. But here's the catch. It starts with a decision, a simple one, but not an easy one. You have to stop trading your life just to earn a paycheck and start using your time to create things that earn money for you. That's how you escape the wheel, the never-ending loop of work, pay bills, work again, pay more bills, until suddenly decades pass and you realize life has been slipping by. So I'm looking you right in the eye now, and I'm asking you the most important question of your life. How much longer will you keep working for money when you could be building things that work for you? Because believe me, that one choice can change the entire direction of your life. Here's what most people don't realize. There's a game being played every single day, everywhere, by everyone. An invisible game, silent, constant, but incredibly powerful. And the worst part? You're playing in it without even knowing it exists. And while you're moving pieces around the board, there are people out there who own the board itself. Who are they? Not the ones working the hardest, but the ones who understand the system, who control the money, who've known how this works from the beginning because no one ever told them otherwise. They didn't just learn the rules, they wrote them. And do you know what one of those rules says? The golden rule? Whoever holds the gold makes the rules. As brutal as that sounds, it's reality. This system was never designed to reward those who work the hardest. It was built to reward those who understand how money works. So let me ask you directly, do you really believe the government wants you to be rich? Do you honestly think this system was created to give you freedom, wealth, and security? Or could it be that the system was designed to keep you dependent? To keep you obedient? To keep you afraid? To trap you in an endless cycle of debt? Take a look at who pays the highest taxes. It's almost always the employees, the self-employed, the ones who wake up the earliest, work the longest, and grind the hardest. And on the other side, entrepreneur, investors, asset owners. They pay far less, proportionally. And no, that's not a loophole. That's not some glitch in the matrix. That is the matrix. That's exactly how it was designed. Have you ever really noticed that? Let me give you an example. Donald Trump. A lot of people were outraged when they found out he paid almost no taxes. They screamed, "That's outrageous, a billionaire, and he pays nothing?" But you know what he did? He simply played the game by the rules. And if you knew the same rules, you'd probably do the exact same thing. Because this system doesn't reward hard work. It rewards value creation. It rewards investment. It rewards people who build jobs, generate cash flow, and understand how to move money. And it punishes everyone else. The people who trade their time for money are always at a disadvantage. Now look at the other side of the coin. How many celebrities, artists, professional athletes, people who made millions in their careers, ended up completely broke? One of the most famous examples, MC Hammer. At the peak of his success, he earned more than $30 million. That's around 25 million euros. And still, he lost it all. Why? Because he never understood how money actually works. He didn't know the difference between making money and building wealth. He lived off his income and spent it on things that made him no richer. Luxury, mansions, cars, parties, liabilities that pulled money out of his pocket, but not a single asset that put money back in. And like always, in the end, the system won. And trust me, this doesn't just happen to celebrities. It happens every day. To millions of ordinary, good, hard-working people. People who are honest, people who show up, who give their best and still lose. Why does this keep happening? Because no one ever taught them how the game really works. And the price for that ignorance? It's high. You lose the game without even knowing you were playing. And that's exactly how the system wants it. Because the moment you understand it, you become dangerous. Free people are a threat to the system. Because free people don't follow blindly. They don't obey every rule without question. They don't live paycheck to paycheck. They don't depend on the government or a company. Or some retirement plan that might not even exist when they need it most. So when I say, rich people don't work for money, this isn't just some catchy phrase, it's a fact. They work to build assets, they learn the rules of the system, and then they use them to their advantage. If you really want to break out of this invisible cage, you have to stop simply existing. You have to start seeing life as a game with real stakes, a game that determines whether you'll chase money for the rest of your life or eventually have money working for you. I've lived it myself. I remember when I bought my first few properties, and suddenly, month after month, I was receiving income. Just like that, rent checks, money in my account, and I didn't have to trade a single hour of work for it. And here's the craziest part. I was paying less in taxes than most of my friends who had regular jobs. That moment shattered everything I thought I knew. Because my whole life I'd been told, work hard, pay your taxes, save a little if there's anything left. But suddenly, I had stepped into an entirely different world. A world where I was earning more and giving less away. It made no sense under the logic we're all raised with. But it made perfect sense in the logic of the real game. The game the rich are playing. So let me ask you this. Do you really want to keep playing the employee game? The one where you work harder, pay more taxes, have less time, and often end up with less money? Or are you finally ready to learn the game of the wealthy? Because here's something no one ever told you. This game, it's not just for billionaires. It's not only for people who were born rich. We've all been programmed to be the pawn, the worker, the piece that gets moved. But now, right now, you have the chance to become the player, the one who moves the pieces, the one who owns the board. And the only question that matters is, what will you choose? There's one truth that most people miss entirely, and yet it's the key to everything. A job should never be the goal. It should be a school, a temporary training ground, not your destination, just a stepping stone, a place to build skills. So one day, you can stand on your own. I remember when I first started at Xerox, a lot of people asked me, Robert, you always speak out against the employee lifestyle. So why did you even take a job in the first place? My answer? Simple. I didn't go there to stay an employee. I went there to learn. To master one of the most powerful skills you can ever develop, sales. Because I'll say this with absolute conviction. If you can't sell, if you can't communicate, if you can't negotiate, you will never be financially free. I didn't care about getting promoted. I wasn't chasing awards. I had one goal, to understand how money is created without relying on a paycheck. And that is the message I want to leave you with today. If you're working a job right now, that's okay. But please see it for what it really is. It's a school, a bridge, a launch pad, not your final destination. You were not born to sell 30 years of your life to the highest bidder. You are there to learn, to grow, to move on. Now just imagine, what would it feel like to control your own cash flow, to build your own assets, to launch your own business, to create real financial security that no one can take away from you, that life is possible. But here's where most people fall short. They believe the job is the goal. They think life is just waking up, working, paying bills, and starting over again. So I ask you, how much longer are you going to accept that? How much longer will you believe that this cycle is all life has to offer you? I remember a conversation I had with someone very close to me. He said, "Robert, I can't imagine living without a steady paycheck. The very thought of it scares me." I looked him in the eyes and said just one thing. What's truly scary is believing you're safe, when in reality, you're completely exposed. Because what happens when that job disappears? When the company shuts down? When the economy shifts overnight? What do you have left? Nothing. And that's when it hits you. You were never actually in control. That's why I say it again and again. Build assets. And I don't just mean properties or companies. I mean you, your skills, your mindset, your ability to solve problems. That is the key, not just to wealth, but to real freedom. And here's the best part. Anyone can do this. Even if you're starting from zero, even if you have no money, even if you didn't go to college, none of that can stop you, except your own doubt. And to show you just how real and doable this is, I've got a simple challenge for you. Over the next 30 days, I want you to start seeing money differently. Every time you go to buy something, no matter how big or small, ask yourself one simple question. Does this make me money, or does it cost me money? Does this grow my wealth, or shrink it? And one more thing, make a commitment. Pick one new skill, just one, something that can help you escape the hamster wheel. Sales, marketing, negotiation, investing, skills that can set you free. Because trust me, not a single billionaire on this planet got rich by waiting patiently for a raise. Not one. They all understood one truth. As long as you're trading your time directly for money, your income will always be limited. Because you, like all of us, only get 24 hours in a day. But the moment you start building income streams that flow in even while you sleep, everything changes. That's where the magic begins. I know because I've lived it. There was a moment when it all shifted for me. When I opened the door to real freedom, freedom to choose where I live, who I work with, and how I spend my time. And I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you because you can do this too. Maybe no one's ever said that to you before. So let me be the first. You are fully capable of building your own financial freedom. But to do it, you need to stop playing the employee's game and start mastering the game of wealth. So be honest with yourself. Do you want to spend the rest of your life chasing a paycheck? Or will you decide today to start building something of your own? To create your own income streams and secure your real, lasting freedom? Because that choice, it's yours alone. No one else on earth can make it for you. If you take only one thing from this video, let it be this. Rich people don't work for money. They build assets. They create systems that work for them, while the rest of the world keeps selling their time, month after month. This truth is not just a clever idea. It's a turning point. It separates the ones who stay stuck in the hamster wheel from the ones who take back control today. And you know what? The fact that you made it to the end of this video, that alone earns my respect, because it means you're ready. You're ready for change. But the journey doesn't stop here. In fact, this is where it really begins. Right now on your screen, you'll see the next video. Click it. Keep going, because the future you want is waiting. But you have to move, because with every single step you take, you become at least 1% better than the person you were today. And one day, you'll look back and realize this was the moment everything changed. If this video made you think, if something inside you said, it's time to wake up, and if you felt deep down that you're capable of so much more, then now is the moment to take action. Drop a comment below and tell me, what was the one line that hit you the hardest? I read every single message, and I respond. Give this video a thumbs up if you've got the courage to walk a different path. And if you want more truth, more clarity, more real steps toward financial freedom, then hit that subscribe button. It's free, it's risk-free. But the impact? Massive. Because here you're not just getting motivation, you're getting tools. You're becoming part of a community, a tribe of people who want more from life. Thank you for being here today. And always remember, you have more power than you think. So start using it. I'll see you in the next video. I'm waiting for you.